Cooper Fieldhouse.
Little Caesars Detroit-style deep dish pizza has caramelized crispy cheese edges and a soft, chewy center. Do you love it, Matthew Stafford?
I'm not a walking billboard.
Okay, never mind.
Pizza, pizza.
Get Little Caesars Detroit-style deep dish pizza for just $8.99.
Pizza, pizza.
Formula One cars are like aircraft but upside down. They're creating lift, but they're creating lift in the opposite sense. We're pushing the tyres into the ground.
The only bit that actually touches the ground are the tyres, so as much downforce as you can have is just key to going faster through those phases.
Aerodynamics is the prime performance differentiator on a Formula One car. So that's also why we dedicate a lot of resource, a lot of focus on aerodynamics.
That's half the fun of a new house, seeing what people left behind in the attic.
Well, saving on homeowners insurance with Geico's help was pretty fun, too.
Well, enjoy your house.
Nope.
Geico.
From Holiday Hills, Illinois, to Rudolph, Wisconsin. From Santa Claus, Indiana, to Snowflake, Arizona. From Garland, Texas, to North Pole, New York, and everywhere in between. We're holiday ready with fast and reliable delivery, serving every address in America. The United States Postal Service.
Josh, you said you wanted to see the Dukes. Let it fly.
They did it quickly. Quincy McGriff got it going off the hop here. Look at the cross court from Jimmy Clark to Day-Day Grant. He dials it up from the wing. And then you see Grant here from the right elbow. He buries another one. This is what we talked about for Duquesne trying to get opportunities to score. And on the converse, they've done a pretty good job of forcing Montana to take shots from the outside. They haven't all been good looks. They've gotten some misses on that end, too.
R.J. Gunn, another player that Duquesne fans might remember from last year's roster, but barely remember him playing. Only checked in for a few minutes, was beset by injuries, a high ankle sprain that never healed, never had surgery on it, just spent a lot of time rehabbing. But as we see him on the court right now, Josh, a body transformation for this young man.
And he's a guy that Keith Dambrot is really high on. He likes his ability, and he considers him one of the guys on this team that can contribute a lot, especially off the bench.
Gunn wearing number 21. Good outside shooter, big frame. Has lost a lot of weight and is very lithe and athletic looking as opposed to last year. Another three-point shot. That one's way off. And it'll go over to the Grizzlies.
And Jimmy Clark rubbing his elbow there. Don't know if that had anything to do with it, but maybe he's just trying to find a rhythm.
R.J. Gunn, a 6'7" graduate student from Columbia, South Carolina. Had 78 starts at Division II at Lenore-Rhine. And that's Kareem Rozier from Detroit, the freshman we told you about wearing number 32. Rochoff helps in the corner. Whitney thinks about it. Now it goes back out to Moody. Sling it back over to Whitney. Patient ball movement here from the Grizzlies. And that's going to be the second foul on Clark, which is something that Coach Dambrot was concerned about him potentially getting into foul trouble.
And honestly, it was on the end of a really good sequence of defense for Duquesne. They were doing a pretty good job of stopping the ball, trapping it, making it harder to move around. But at the very end of it, Clark with a little bit too much contact.
Matusz Wronski from Slovakia gets his first action for Duquesne. Another new name for Dukes fans to get to know. He's big and wiry, can play the point a little bit too, though, for the Dukes. He'll do some of that. Jump shot from Vasquez. Rattles home. The senior from California. A guy who can take some of the burden off of Whitney has done so. Played 26 minutes a game as a freshman. Saw a lot of point guard duties then.
He's a guy Travis DeCure really trusts off the bench in the backcourt to eat up some minutes during the course of a game.
But Whitney's out there with him right now. Moody watches Wronski. Ooh, almost picked up the pivot foot. Lee Castle, the coach, sort of, or the referee rather, sort of gave him a warning there. Came close. Now Rozier, a high floater. That looked like Jackie Johnson from last year a little bit, Josh.
I was wondering. I was wondering if I was the only one that caught that similarity, but He gave it the opportunity, and it wasn't like it was easy. He had Mac Anderson in his face, a 6'9" guy who's got an entire foot on him. Not easy.
Second team foul for the Grizzlies. Gunn has it in the corner to Grant. Turns, pops, shoots, hits. He's hot early.
And when you can get a guy like Day Grant going for this team, it's important because they've got a handful of shooters like we mentioned before, and if one of them gets hot, it opens up other opportunities.
7 already for Grant. Whitney uses the offhand, gets away from Wronski, and buries a jumper.
Whitney's very quick. He's not only can he actually see the floor well, but he can create shots for himself, and he did it again there.
Rozier, he is a natural point guard, as we alluded to before. They're kind of finding guys to go out of their comfort zone a little bit to run the point, not so much as Rozier. That's what he does, and Grant is fouled going to the basket.
And if they can up that defensive profile a little bit, it could be a bigger season for them than maybe anybody anticipated.
They bring back 4 starters. Anderson started all 25 games last year for the Grizzlies, coming off the bench now, but returning 4 starters, 3 other players returning. By college basketball standards today, that feels like a lot.
It feels like you're almost getting your entire team back when you can have 7 players back on your roster, but also 7 experienced players was helpful.
A little trap underneath. Reese goes up, misses the shot. He's been close a couple times. Now gets one to roll home. Little pressure there from Duquesne. And Coach Dambrot said they do more of this because they have more bodies to do it with. And a steal by Wronski. Goes to Rozier. To Reese for the dunk. And Montana wants a timeout. Oh, the changeup from Duquesne on defense pays dividends. And the Dukes are up 8.
Kareem Rozier, you saw his reaction from the moment this ball got knocked loose. He picked it up off the floor and found Reese immediately. And as soon as that dunk went in, he couldn't keep it to himself. He's fired up, and Duquesne's got an 8-point lead.
Seen some chemistry early with the way these guys are playing. They're not hunting and pecking. They're really feeling each other out where they are going to be on the court, and pretty effectively not only on offense but defense there when it comes to the full court.
Absolutely. The anticipation where each man is going to be on defense has been really good, not only in the half court in the zone, but they stretched it out and went into that trap, and they were doing it in the full court trap as well. You're seeing it turn into dividends with that easy slam. They're turning it into back-to-back buckets. That's what Keith Dambrot likes to see. He likes to see his team get involved on offense, but when you can turn defense into offense, that's where he's in his kitchen.
Take another look at that sequence for Duquesne as they started out 7 of 14 here from the floor, as Wronski with the good hands in front of Moody to Reese for the slam.
Your coaches talked about having active hands, and that's exactly what we saw there. Reese, even before the deflection by Wronski, had his hands up and around trying to knock that ball loose.
6-0 run for Duquesne as we are nearing the next under 4 timeout here in the first half. Oh, and more pressure as Wronski gets a piece of it again.
They're doing a really good job here of just anticipating and getting in front of passing lanes. And so far, it's working out for Duquesne.
And now Reese from the backside. They've got Brandon trapped again. Now he goes in front of the bench, and they're going to say it's a jump ball. Possession will stay with the Grizzlies, but the Dukes will take that for sure.
Great job by Wronski and Reese. They are trapping in the corner on Bandit. And we haven't heard from him a lot in this game before, already, but they get him right in the baseline, trap him in the corner, and force that jump ball call. Great defense by Duquesne.
Wronski's the first Slovakian to suit up for the Dukes. And according to what Keith Dambrot told us, playing for the national team, that's where he's played the most point in his basketball career. And so long as Rozier is out there, he can play off the ball where maybe he's more comfortable.
Finding a lot of versatility with some of the players on this roster, especially the younger kind.
Moody takes a bump from Grant, and now it's going to be a charge on Moody as Rozier continues to make good things happen.
And once again, he gets up roaring like the MGM Lion. Rozier is so excitable, and he's showing it early.
Boy, if they can steal early minutes with him on the floor, given his inexperience and everything, Josh, and get positive results, that's a great step in the right direction, especially since McGriff is not a natural point. This is a great way for Keith Dambrot to maximize that rotation and stretch out the bench.
Yeah, you can't emphasize it enough. This kid, Kareem Rozier, he's a true freshman getting this opportunity right now on the floor for Duquesne.
Ronsky guarded by Martin Jr. Grant will tee up another three and
wow.
bury it +1. Oh, Day Grant coming as advertised in his first game as a Duquesne Duke.
All it took was the hesitation, and that's what he got. It opened up space with the step back and the hand in the face, plus the contact and the foul and a shot at a 4-point play.
Grant up to 12 points already.
Day Grant coming out of Miami, Ohio with the Redhawks. He shot 34% from the three-point line last season, as well as 42% from the floor. Also 85% free throw shooter. He's already 2 for 2 there on the night.
That foul went on Jonathan Brown, the 6'3" junior guard from London, England.
Another one of those transfers we talked about from Central Methodist.
Grant completes the 4-point play for Duquesne, and they're up by a dozen.
8 minutes in. This is a strong start for Duquesne.
And we're going to get an off it. No, they're going to call this on Grant, because he rode it a little too tight on Lonell Martin. I thought they were going to call Martin for the elbow to create some space, which he gave to Grant a little bit there.
It looked a lot more torso than it did elbow, but they said it was a little bit too much. So that's his second foul.
Yeah, so he'll go to the bench. You don't want to get him in foul trouble too much here early on with the way he's been playing offensively. So bring McGriff back in. Now to amplify the point, about the point, we can see Rozier run the point with McGriff off of it potentially.
And Keith Dambrot talked about McGriff as a shooter. Maybe this opens up opportunities for him to get loose.
And Ronsky a little bit of hard time keeping up with Brandon Whitney there. And that'll get us under 12 minutes, which means we'll step aside. Breaking the action brought to you by Cordia, creating energy solutions. 24-12, Duquesne in front of Montana on ESPN+.
When you get a chip in your windshield, trust Safelite. This couple counts on their SUV as they travel for their small business. So when they got a chip in their windshield, they brought it to Safelite for a same-day in-shop repair. We repaired the chip right away, and with their insurance, it was no cost to them. Plus, to protect their glass, we installed new wipers too. That's service the way you need it.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
It's big, it's back, and it's still $6. Get the big box y'all love today.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Well, heard my baby sister's buying a car. You'll need my secret weapon.
Gross, no. Anyway, I already used Capital One Auto Navigator. Found my car online and got pre-qualified instantly.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
What's in your wallet?
If Damian Lillard accepted his spot at the end of the bench, he never would have been at the rec center before it opened. If he listened to those who overlooked him, he never would have heard his name called as a first-round pick. And if he let 6 all-star selections go to his head, he never would have had the heart to give back to the streets that shaped it. That's the fighting spirit. That's what makes a lion. Modelo, root for those with a fighting spirit.
Day Grant, Josh, letting people know what he's all about early.
There he is with the step back, knocking down the 3 and the 1. There's a better look at it from behind, and there's the contact afterwards. So far, Day Grant has been feeling it. He is the hot hand right now for Duquesne. Now, granted, he's in foul trouble, so he's sitting down for the moment, but I imagine the moment he gets back on the floor, they're going to look for him another time to get another one off.
One player we haven't seen so far, a returning player from last year that contributed a lot both in terms of scoring and rebounding, is Kevin Easley Jr., who will be woven into the mix, I'm sure, at some point here for Duquesne.
He was a guy who they relied on a lot last season. He played 30 games and started 26 for Duquesne.
Thought about testing the pro waters and decided to come back and play. NIL certainly helping with a lot of these decisions for borderline players who are trying to make the decision as to whether or not they want to stay in school, go pro, whether that's with the intention of going to the NBA or get paid to play in Europe or something like that. And if you can continue to get your education and the NIL money helps, then this is the kind of player that is definitely, in my opinion, helped more than anybody, and the type of addition that's really good with this step forward by the NCAA is to keep kids like this in school.
Yeah, it's one of those things where a lot of people just assume the wrong part of it, but this is one of those situations where the player's helped more than he's harmed.
Wronski drives, set up the pick and roll. Reese was there. Wronski kept it and got the basket.
Good job by Reese to clear some space out. Wronski saw it and moved quickly to get to the basket for the easy layup.
And there's a steal by McGriff. Open court, lays it in softly. And another timeout for Montana.
Credit to Joe Reese for that one. He deflected that ball. That's how McGriff got to it going the other way and got the bucket. And Duquesne is turning defense into offense again.
A 16-point lead at the UPMC Cooper Fieldhouse. And if you want to introduce your fans to the new roster, this is the best possible way to do it.
It's also the way that I think Keith Dambrot would also prefer to do it. They're doing it with defense. They're doing it with really smart play, not making a lot of mistakes, taking open looks on shots, being very active on defense. These are things that it's not just something that's new to him. Keith Dambrot wants these all the time, and this team is adapted to that very quickly.
Duquesne, a 14-0 run right now, 18-0-4 over the last 5 minutes and 4 seconds.
This is exactly how you want to start a game, especially in your home opener. We talked about it. 10 new players on this roster. You're trying to find some kind of cohesion. You're trying to find a way for these guys to gel. They're doing it the easy ways first. They're making the plays on defense, turning it into easy opportunities on offense. And, of course, that's going to raise a lot of confidence. That's going to have everybody excited and working together, and you're seeing the dividends early.
Wronski almost looks bigger than 6'8", doesn't he? He is long and wiry.
Really long for 6'8", but he's athletic, and Keith Dambrot loves all the different things he can do. We talked about this before. You got a handful of guys here that, have length and they have athleticism and ability, and I think that's something we can keep an eye on down the road.
Jackson Knapp is checking into the game for the first time. Now we've got a foul on Rozier as they continue to bring the heat with the press on Bannon. Watch it on the replay. The trap comes from Reese and Rozier.
They continue to put a lot of pressure on Bannon. And by the way, he's been really quiet. They haven't given him a lot of opportunities to shoot. And like we said before, he's their leading scorer and rebounder. They've done a pretty good job of bottling him up so far.
Vasquez with the ball in his hands right now. He was the last guy to get a basket for the Grizzlies, right? Didn't that start the run right after that?
I think you're correct.
It feels like forever ago. Whitney crosses over to the right. Rozier eyeballs on him. There's a good look to Bannon underneath. It's blocked from behind by Reese. The Grizzlies want the goaltend. They don't get it.
Wow.
And Reese gets another block. Numbers back the other way. McGriff will pull it back now. Reese after the back-to-back blocks. Good pass. Rozier kicks into the corner and is intercepted by Vasquez. Kind of lost himself once he got in the air.
I think Rozier wants that one back. He knew immediately when he let it go. He probably should have held on to it.
And swatted from behind by McGriff. Good hands underneath by Duquesne's big men.
They continue to do well here as far as keeping Montana from having harder shot opportunities. You see Reese there. Got more of the backboard than he did the ball the first time, but the second time he got the ball, then the ball got the backboard. Great defensive sequence there by Joe Reese.
Yeah, the recovery to get the second block on Knapp was something else. And they gave Reese that foul, I believe.
I'm sure the fans are appreciating it because you can hear some of that noise coming.
Lefty free throw from Bannon is good.
We're hearing that student section over here on the west end of the UPMC Cooper Fieldhouse. They're starting to come to life here. And when the red and blue crew gets going, this place is fun to be around.
Reese goes out, so does Gunn. Rochoff comes in, as does Trey Williams. Second free throw from Bannon's good as well. Talked about Austin Rochoff coming back from a stress fracture in his foot. Last year, a fracture in his foot, I should say. Knee injury before that. Trey Williams had to deal with knee and shoulder injuries a year ago. Now he tries to make the move on Thomas, and the baby right-hander goes down.
Nice positioning there in the paint, using his feet to set himself, and delivers the baby hook. Good job there by Williams.
Narowski gets the steal. Had it stuffed up for a minute with Vasquez, then gets it cleanly. Three-point try, no good. Rebound batted around. The Grizzlies come up with it. Kerr actually make that Oki with the rebound.
Wronski was just in the right place at the right time. The ball pretty much went through his legs. He just picked it up and took it the other way.
Laulu Oki coming into the game for the first time has the ball, guarded by Wronski. O'Bannon trying to go to work on Rotroff. Gets into the paint. That's short. Williams fights for the rebound and gets it. Rozier trying to use the pick from Williams. Gives it to him. Puts the ball on the deck. Now stops, picks up his dribble. Plenty of time for the Dukes, still with 16 on the shot clock. Rozier to Rotroff. Now Wronski, lots of minutes. First outside shot. No doubt about it. That one brought rain. And it also brought 3 points for Duquesne.
You mentioned how long Wronski is. He used every single inch of that length as advantage to get up over the defender who was in his face, and he still brought that one down. Great shot by Wronski.
That is the fourth three-pointer for Duquesne in this half. So we get close to 8.5 minutes. Oh, all by himself, Bannon. I think he was stunned by how open he was.
That hasn't happened a lot in this game so far. I'd be surprised, too, if I were him.
Baseline drive, kick it back out to Rozier. At the elbow, now in the corner to Williams. He'll go baseline, wanted to get it to Rotroff, ran into traffic. Now he's able to kick it out to McGriff, or do you step on the end line? I think they called a foul underneath.
Called a foul.
Yeah, they did.
He was getting harassed there underneath. Let's take a look at it.
I want to say that was Oki who picked it up, maybe? No.
Oh.
Yeah, it's Vasquez.
It's Vasquez.
Yeah, I got him around the arm. 6-team foul for the Grizz.
That almost became a pretty rough sequence for Duquesne right before that foul was called.
Clark had 2 quick fouls, and now he re-enters the game. Rozier, deserved round of applause going over to the bench.
Pretty good work here by Kareem Rozier. We're talking 7 minutes.
Off the side of the backboard, able to get the rebound, though. Quick hook from Rotroff on the follow. Excellent work on the boards for Duquesne.
Good to see Austin Rotroff get a bucket here early. He was a young man who showed a lot of promise. His first game as a Duquesne Duke, he scored 17, and he's had a lot of misfortune since then, but it's good to see him involved early here.
Roger Ayers says full timeout, so we'll take it with him. 35-14, Duquesne cruising early at the UPMC at Cooper Fieldhouse.
Nursing school doesn't really teach you to become an ICU nurse. Like, you have to have a special talent to understand patients who are not able to express themselves. Just little clues that the body gives you and the patient gives you that just help. Who they are and what they want is extremely important to me.
Can you imagine if your kid was in here fighting for their life or going through what they're going through? You know, we gotta kind of leave our stuff at the door and remember why we're doing this. At UPMC, we're changing people's days with what we do. That means everything.
Every school teaches the basics, gives out homework, and prepares students for life. But at the Summit Academy, we hold ourselves to a higher goal. We ask more, instill a deeper sense of pride, and challenge students to achieve the kind of success that they never imagined possible. If you have the passion to change lives, we are currently hiring teachers, drug and alcohol counselors, and therapists. The Summit Academy. Join us and make a difference.
You see the lead by Duquesne as they are shooting 14 of 23 from the floor, and Austin Rotroff contributing. And just to have him part of the front court again, to be able to give a break to Reese, to Williams, to be able to play the 4, the 5, it's such a nice piece to have integrated back into the Duquesne flow.
Yeah, Keith Danbrot talked about this going into the season. He felt a lot more comfortable with that depth in the front court, and one reason why is because of a healthy Austin Rotroff. We haven't seen that a lot over the last couple seasons here, Tim, and I talked about this before the break. He's a young man who had a lot of promise. His debut here, well, it was still the A.J. Palumbo Center at the time, but he had 17 against William & Mary, and he had really high hopes for him, Keith Danbrot did, but the injuries became a problem over the years.
Over the outstretched hand of Wronski. See if the Grizzlies are able to break the press more effectively this time from Duquesne. They are. Whitney with the dribble. Give it to Moody. Pull up short of the paint. And Rotroff on cue gets the rebound. Duquesne out in front on the glass. 13-7 after that board from Rotroff. McGriff runs into a double team. They use Rotroff to reset to Wronski with 18 on the shot clock.
One thing Duquesne's doing, they're not making a lot of small mistakes. If they don't see an outlet, they try to find the open man when they pick the dribble up, and they're making good passes.
Rotroff in the roll after the give to McGriff, and instead you see the hop step from Williams. Nice and soft with the baby hook, but unable to fall.
We saw him with that earlier in the game. He's able to make that work for him often.
Whitney probes for the Grizzlies. He'll drive amongst the trees and get fouled by Trey Williams. And just having more bodies that you can count on, and the players knowing that, the coaches knowing that, you can be more aggressive and be more assertive in the defensive paints.
Exactly, and I think the energy that these guys they're exerting on the floor, you can see it. They're doing a lot more as far as defensively. They're not holding back. They're trying to make as many plays as possible, and everybody together is all exerting that same kind of energy because there's depth in the backcourt. There's depth in the front court, and they know there's other guys available if bodies become tired.
Rozier's in, and we mentioned Easley. He gets his first look for 2022-23. Trey Williams goes out after picking up that foul. Actually, I wonder, Josh, did they actually give that to Williams?
It looked like they did give it to Williams.
No, they didn't. They give it to Clark. There we go. All right, so he got his third.
So it was Clark before Williams got involved there. It's a bad situation for Clark to be in at the moment.
Easley with his first touch. High handoff from Reese to McGriff, and they're going to call an offensive foul. And it's going to go against Reese.
Here's a look at it there. Oh, he handed off, and they didn't like the screen that he set. He picked up that left foot when he set that screen after the handoff, and that's why they called him for the foul.
It's the first for Reese.
He didn't like that call either.
Rozier doesn't let Whitney blow by. Flashing up high is Easley. The handoff to Moody. Off the back rim, no good with the three. Bounce and rebound to Rozier. Chest pass out to McGriff, a little too hot, went off his hands, and it's going to go over to Montana.
Wow, Moody called that immediately once the ball got loose. He thought McGriff was the last one to touch it, and the officials agree with him. Let's take a look at it.
I thought that was more Moody knocking it out than McGriff, don't you?
He sold it well. He sold it well. In pro wrestling, they call that selling the gimmick. Moody did it very effectively.
Sticky defense from McGriff. Moody can't get away. Whitney wanted to give it back to Anderson. Now Whitney goes the whole way, and it's going to be a charge. Offensive foul.
He had some space open up in front of him. Maybe that's why they called that foul. But Duquesne as a team has been playing really strong defense. Let's see what happens here when Whitney comes in. Oh, there it is, Anderson.
It wasn't a charge. It was Anderson underneath.
Yeah,
I thought they were saying he warded off, but it was Anderson underneath with the arm bar or the hip.
Look, an arm bar / hip check that he put on David Dixon there to clear up some space.
Yeah, Dixon getting his first minutes. Athletic big man for Duquesne. Sister player at Louisville. Drive from Easley, his first basket of the year. That's good to see off the bench for Easley.
He went with a lot of energy there. He didn't slow up. He saw it immediately and drove straight to the basket and got the 2. Great play.
37-25. Duquesne a huge lead early. Let's see how they play with it. Now Martin able to dribble through to the free throw line. Down to 8 in the shot clock. And there's a turnover, and it's going to be a foul on Duquesne.
He pointed at Wronski. He thought he got away with that one. Take the look here.
Oh, yeah, it's Easley. Looks like he got him on the arm.
Easley got him on the arm. Wronski was ready to run the other way, though. He thought it was going back the other way. He was ready for it. You got to love the aggression with Duquesne on the perimeter. As far as that perimeter defense, they've been very, very strong with trying to turn opportunities the other way. Wronski was ready to run the other way and trying to turn that into a transition bucket. But Duquesne their team defense today has been really strong, very aggressive, and they've made it hard for Montana to get clean looks.
We talked about their ability to foul more because they have more bodies. Doesn't mean that they have to do it, but
right. You don't have to
10
do it all
fouls,
right away.
Yeah, with about 5:37 left to go in the first half. So double bonus now for Montana. 18-14 a year ago. And we talked about all the experience that came back for the Grizzlies. But the injection of maturity from the transfers has also been something that's been talked about quite a bit by Travis DeCure. Because they have the guys back, they wanted to get some new blood in as well. And another foul.
Another offensive
Dixon.
Foul. Wow.
Boy, how many of those have we seen in recent trips here? It's about the third.
We're seeing bodies tangled up here quite a bit, and there's Dixon. They called that foul. And I don't know if that's similar to the one we saw previously. At least with Reese,
yeah.
You understood why that foul was called. Dixon, I didn't see the same thing that happened there. I was a little bit more curious.
I think that was a case of the officials looking for it because they saw it in the previous possession. We're looking for it again, and oh no, that was a little tight.
There's been quite a bit of contact. There's been a lot of contact in the middle of the floor too.
Moody tries to shake free from Rozier. High off the glass, tipped away, and boy, Duquesne's doing a nice job of shutting down the offensive glass for Montana.
That was great team effort as far as tipping the ball away and finding someone else that can get to it. In that case, it was easily getting it to Rozier.
Dixon, good ball fake. Can't do much with it though. Easily thought about a 3. He'll drive, keeps the pivot foot down. Wronski on the wing. Pull-up jump shot, yes.
That was a clean baseline look from Wronski.
I see what you see, Josh, as well, with his high hands and the high delivery that he's got for his shot.
He uses
tough
that.
to defend.
He uses it really well, and you can't defend when a guy gets that high and releases a shot that high.
Good entry to Bannon. Feels a double team. That pass intercepted by Wronski. He'll come 3-on-2. Lost it off the back heel, but Dixon is there. And Dixon goes through the lane and picks up the trash and turns it into points.
And that play was easy for Wronski. All he had to do was look up and put his hands up because it went right in his direction. All he did was pluck it out of the air and take it the other way.
It's a 23-5 run right now for the Dukes.
Unbelievable.
One more timeout coming in this half. One more media timeout, I should say. Moody challenged by Rozier. Double team on defense. Anderson couldn't do much with it. And now Bannon all by himself. And that's no good. That's the second time where he's had a little extra beat, and I think he's felt confused by it.
And the fans here applauded that sequence. Great team defense by Duquesne. Bannon had the open 3 in the corner, but it didn't go down, and the fans appreciated the effort.
Easley decides to pull and hit. Oh, Easley, it's all falling right now for the Dukes, Josh.
If it feels nice, make it twice. He's pulled up a couple times now and buried both of them.
Now Whitney almost has it stolen by Rozier. Gets the dribble back at the 8-10 logo. Has to pull it back out. Here's Martin. Just outside of the lane. Now Bannon will be aggressive. Tries to get around Easley. Goes up with the left, and it's rebounded by Anderson. And there's a collision there with Eastley. Rozier keeps the ball moving out in front to Wronski with the Euro step. Had it knocked away, no whistle. McGriff has it in the corner. Tries to shake. Jumper instead. That one won't go down, but Dixon, good work to get the rebound.
Incredible effort.
Eastley, line drive, no good. I'd heard he'd maybe put a little bit more arc on that shot this year. His special was always the line drive three, and that one was as much of a line drive as we saw all of last year.
Now that was slightly less
that looked very
flat
familiar. Oh, you
than
think
the
so?
other two. The one before that was a little bit flatter, I think, by comparison.
He's had more line drives than Tony Gwynn. We'll get a rebound, too. Oh, Eastley almost lost it with Rozier, but maintains possession, and Keith Dambrot wants him to slow it down, and I think he wants a timeout. Yeah, he's going to get across half court and call a timeout. A break in the action brought to you by Cordia, creating energy solutions with the Dukes way out in front, 43-17. Just about 2 minutes left to go in the first of the UPMC Cooper Fieldhouse.
Progress is a race that has no end. After every finish line, another challenge awaits. How can we continue to push innovation in a sport at the forefront of technology? This is how. Discover how Aramco and the Aston Martin Formula One team aim to meet Formula One's sustainable fuel targets. Aramco, powered by How.
That's the thing about claims, you see. They don't happen on your schedule. I mean, take a chestnut. It doesn't just say, oh, beg pardon, but it's now a good time for a jolly bit of window cracking. Near as I can tell, chestnuts don't talk.
Geico, your claims team is here for you 24/7.
From Santa Claus, Indiana, to Snowflake, Arizona, and everywhere in between, we're holiday ready with fast and reliable delivery, serving every address in America. The United States Postal Service.
This could be an authentic Detroit-style deep dish pizza from Little Caesars. It certainly has the thickness with caramelized crispy cheese edges.
I'm guessing it's...
Detroit-style deep dish, actually from Detroit, only $8.99.
Pizza.
This Friday. Reserve your tickets now. Rated PG-13.
We isolated on Day Grant earlier. How about Matusz Wronski?
I'm loving the effort from this young man early. And the thing I've noticed, not only the effort, the confidence, both on defense and on offense. When he lets it go, he's not even hesitating. He's getting his look. He's letting it fly, and it's going down, and he feels it from the moment it's going. There's the defensive intensity I've talked about. It seems like he's always near the ball, getting it back in the other direction, and it's turning into fast break points for Duquesne.
Wronski with 7 points, 3 of 3 from the floor. A lot of this run is taking place with Grant nursing those 2 fouls on the bench. He's a perfect 4 for 13 is Grant, but he hasn't played for a while, and they've been able to get away from needing to rely on him because everybody else has picked up the slack. Meanwhile, Montana just 20% from the floor, Josh. They've led for all of 18 seconds of this game.
The thing I like, Wronski and Rozier, that pair, they both are very aggressive defensively, and they made some very significant plays.
McGriff wanted to get it to Rochoff, who was fighting hard for position, and it's kicked away by Bannon.
And Josh Bannon's a guy who's still trying to find his bearing in this game. He's 0 for 6 from the floor. He's 2 for 2 from the free throw line. He's only got 2 points in this game. He's their leading scorer, and Duquesne has kept him quiet.
The officials indicating they want 20 back on the shot clock because it was kicked. Rozier waiting for Wronski to curl into the corner, and his perfect run is over. Rochoff will pick up the foul as Bannon had position. Rochoff lost his balance going into him.
That was a clean look by Wronski, though, coming around the arc, and he had a screen to set him up in the corner, and Rozier found him. It was a really good look from the corner, just couldn't get it to go.
Laulu Oki is an impressive-looking player for Montana.
Another one of those transfers that we talked about earlier from Metropolitan State in Denver.
Aurora, Colorado, 6'8", 218 pounds. And Bannon hits the first free throw. Substitution, Martin will re-enter the game. Going out on the far side is Jackson Knapp. He got his second shift for the Grizzlies. And the native of Melbourne, Australia, hits the second free throw.
All 4 of his points this evening from this stripe. As we talked about it before, Duquesne doing an incredible job of keeping him bottled up and not letting him get shots off.
And Moody also 1 of 6, fighting it a bit so far for the Grizzlies. Rozier having a hard time shaking the double team. Now gets the handoff from Rotroff. He'll drive baseline. Good dump down to Gunn, who finishes off the window.
Duquesne's done a really good job of finding passes when they exhaust the possibility of either shooting or passing or getting to the basket. They still find that open guy. They find that open outlet and get the pass off, and they've done it well, and that turned into a layup for Gunn.
That's got to feel good for Gunn. He's worked so hard on his conditioning. He's playing down low here on defense. 3-point shot outside. Rotroff will do the honors with the rebound.
That was Deshaun Thomas with that 3-point attempt. He hasn't shot that great either. That was only his 3rd attempt of the game.
Duquesne +8 on the boards right now. Really done a good job in the defensive glass, limiting the extended touches for the Grizzlies.
They've all but eliminated second chance opportunities.
Lefty 3 from Gunn. That's too hot. Williams will come into the game if we get another stoppage here. There's only 24 seconds left, actually down to 21 now. As the shot clock and the game clock are pretty well synced up. Grizzlies just trying to go into halftime with something positive on the offensive end here. Vasquez, hook shot, knocked around. One more chance here for Duquesne if Rozier can hurry. We know that he can. Rozier, Gunn will try to hoist a 3 if he can get it off. And do they call a foul in the process?
No, they just waved the shot off.
Waved it off.
Yeah.
I thought there was contact on the way up. That could have been the second foul 3-point shot of the half, potentially.
That's what it looked like for a minute.
I guess Duquesne just had too much rolling for it in the first half. Couldn't get the break at the end. Might be the first thing that went wrong for him in the first 20 minutes.
There haven't been many things in that regard, but
Duquesne, wow, what a first half to start 2022-23. 45-19 over the Grizzlies. The halftime show coming up next on ESPN+.
When you get a chip in your windshield, trust Safelite. This couple counts on their SUV as they travel for their small business. So when they got a chip in their windshield, they brought it to Safelite for a same-day in-shop repair. We repaired the chip right away, and with their insurance, it was no cost to them. Plus, to protect their glass, we installed new wipers too. That's service the way you need it.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
Progress is a race that has no end. After every finish line, another challenge awaits. How can we continue to push innovation in a sport at the forefront of technology? This is how. Discover how Aramco and the Aston Martin Formula One team aim to meet Formula One's sustainable fuel targets. Aramco, powered by How.
This Friday. Reserve your tickets now. Rated PG-13.
From Santa Claus, Indiana, to Snowflake, Arizona, and everywhere in between, we're holiday ready with fast and reliable delivery, serving every address in America. The United States Postal Service.
Medium latte, half calf, no foam, thanks.
Quite the personalized order.
I know what I like. I've been meaning to ask you, Carl, does your firm offer personalized index investing? So I can remove a stock that doesn't align with my goals.
I'm a broker, not a barista.
What about managing gains and losses to be more tax efficient?
Not a wizard either.
Looks like Schwab personalized indexing can.
Learn more about personalized indexing at Schwab today.
Little Caesars Detroit-style deep dish pizza has caramelized crispy cheese edges and a soft, chewy center. Do you love it, Matthew Stafford?
I'm not a walking billboard.
Okay, never mind.
Pizza, pizza.
Get Little Caesars Detroit-style deep dish pizza for just $8.99.
Pizza, pizza.
Everyone is ready for Monday Night Football. The Washington Commanders meet the Eagles.
And welcome back to the Moe's Southwest Grill halftime show. A 45-19 lead for the Duquesne Dukes against the Montana Grizzlies. Just about everything that could go right did go right for Duquesne, and everything that could go wrong went wrong for Montana. Josh, let's take a look at some of the numbers as we go behind the numbers. Brought to you by Schneider Downs. Schneider Downs. Learn how big thinking with a personal focus can help your organization. You see the point disparity, that's obvious. The rebounding numbers really step out too, as does the field goal percentage. You know, there's been 8 total offensive rebounds in this game. 5 because the Dukes can't miss. They don't need offensive rebounds. 3 because they're doing a great job in the defensive glass, so there's just been 3 for Montana on the offensive glass.
Tim, I wish I could take credit for being clairvoyant about this first half, because my keys for Duquesne were to let it fly and clean the glass. They have shot incredibly well, 19 of 33 from the floor, but also that +9 rebounding margin. And part of that's because Duquesne's done such a great job on offense. They have not allowed a lot of second chance opportunities, and that's been a lot of missed shots from Montana. As you can see, the 18% field goal percentage, Duquesne's taking those misses and bringing them the other way and turning them into points.
And that was Behind the Numbers, brought to you by Schneider Downs, the accounting and consulting firm of Schneider Downs. Learn how big thinking with a personal focus can help your organization. When we come back, we'll take some time to look at some of the highlights, and there are many to get through, as Duquesne, with the first look at this new edition of the Dukes, has been extremely impressive for the hometown fans here at the UPMC Cooper Fieldhouse. We'll be back with more of the Moe's Southwest Grill halftime show in just a moment. Josh Taylor, Tim Benz with you here at ESPN+.
Formula One cars are like aircraft but upside down. They're creating lift, but they're creating lift in the opposite sense. We're pushing the tyres into the ground.
The only bit that actually touches the ground are the tyres, so as much downforce as you can have is just key to going faster through those phases.
Aerodynamics is the prime performance differentiator on a Formula One car. So that's also why we dedicate a lot of resource, a lot of focus on aerodynamics.
Being the best takes hard work. It takes early mornings, planning, precision, sweat, sacrifice, and teamwork. That's why Old Dominion Freight Line, the #1 national LTL carrier for quality, works hard to be the best in the game and is proud to support those striving to be the best in their game. Old Dominion Freight Line, helping the world keep promises.
Brace yourself!
From Disney, the Clayt family just crash landed into a very strange world.
Go, Ethan!
Are you okay?
I'm talking to my son!
Disney's Strange World, rated PG.
This week is your chance to try any Subway footlong for free. Like the Subway Series menu. Just buy any footlong in the app and get one free. Free Monsters, free Bosses, and a footlong for free. This guy loves a great offer. So let's see some hustle.
I'm the captain of the Pee Wee football team. We are
mighty!
Annoying. Go, go. Thanks, Mom. And if you have cut rate car insurance, then not even a Hail Mary will save you from paying for this. So get Allstate.
Pacifico is a crisp golden lager, brewed for those who know. It's what's behind a label that matters.
They're just 4 smaller Klarna payments. When you shop at any store, you get your items right away, and they split the cost into bite-sized payments without interest. It's a lot of service. Klarna. Smooth shopping.
You know soccer can be long, too dramatic. Well, I'll give it up. Bundesliga. It's a whole other game. Football may not always be perfect, but Bundesliga is football as it's meant to be.
Who are these guys, Josh? 45-19, the new group of Duquesne Dukes impressing in their first game of the UPMC Cooper Fieldhouse. Let's take a look at how they built this 26-point lead.
I'm sure that was the question people were asking coming into this game, but they made it known quickly. Quincy McGriff getting his first opportunity on the floor here, and he started out well, starting at the point. Then you saw Day Grant. Grant into foul trouble early, but he was shooting pretty well before those problems came about. Then we saw Duquesne turning defense into offense. Wronski had a lot to do with that. You see the slam there by Joe Reese, and you saw Duquesne raise the intensity as things went along, but we talked about it. Duquesne shooting so well from the floor, and also 4 from 13 from behind the arc. A lot of more of that has been inside the paint, and a lot of their scoring has been from this. It has been turning opportunities into buckets off defense. 15 points off turnovers for Duquesne, and there's more defense there. Back-to-back blocks by Joe Reese. They have just had defensive effort up and down the roster, all contributing to it, and it's creating opportunities like this. Kevin Easley getting involved, driving to the glass there for a bucket. He's coming off the bench and providing the spark as well for this team. The thing I think I like the most about right now, Tim, everybody that stepped on the floor in this game has contributed in some way or another, whether it's been points or rebounds or defensive effort or assist of some sort. Every single guy is putting something on the stat sheet, and it's turning into this lead for Duquesne.
Let me amplify that a little bit, because if you look at the stat sheet right now, you got 10 Dukes who have scored in the first half. 13 leads the way for Day Grant. The one guy who doesn't have any points so far is Kareem Rozier, but he's played 14 minutes when we weren't sure if he'd be able to handle the point guard duties in his first game with Brewer not being able to play. All he's done is be a plus 21 off the bench and commit one turnover in those 14 minutes and 2 seconds, and he's not forced any bad shots. He's only taken one shot. He's gotten 4 defensive rebounds as well, so that, I think, underscores what you were advancing, which is even if it's not points per se that everybody has put out there, and just about everybody else has, you look at a guy like Rozier, and you've even got to be happy with what he's done.
You have to enjoy the irony of a 5'9" guard being tied with 2 guys a foot taller than him for the team leading.
Oh, I am. I'm always entertained by that.
I'm leaving that one alone.
Who amongst us does not like something like that?
You know what I do like about this in that particular situation? And like you said, it hasn't shown in the stat sheet, but Kareem Rozier's energy has been electric from the very beginning. He drew a charge in this first half, and he was completely fired up about that. He got a steal, turned that into a dunk, and you saw the energy there. He's brought that, and like you said, it hasn't been on the stat sheet, but he's helping other guys get involved, and that's what's important.
One more break in the Moe's Southwest Grill halftime show, brought to you by Cordia, creating energy solutions. Then we'll be back for the second half of basketball. What do the Dukes do for an encore after those first 20? You'll find out next here on ESPN+.
This week is your chance to try any Subway footlong for free, like the Subway Series menu. Just buy any footlong in the app and get one free. Free monsters, free bosses, any footlong for free. This guy loves a great offer, so let's see some hustle.
The spirit of Wakanda Forever, what it means to me is that you're not alone. You're always with your loved ones. You know, wherever I go, that I have, you know, my family there with me, supporting me, guiding me into the right path.
It's family, it's home. It's such a celebration of heritage, a very united cultural expression.
Wakanda Forever.
Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, rated PG-13.
Progress is a race that has no end. After every finish line, another challenge awaits. How can we continue to push innovation in a sport at the forefront of technology? This is how. Discover how Aramco and the Aston Martin Formula One team aim to meet Formula One's sustainable fuel targets. Aramco, powered by How.
If Damian Lillard accepted his spot at the end of the bench, he never would have been at the rec center before it opened. If he listened to those who overlooked him, he never would have heard his name called as a first-round pick. And if he let 6 all-star selections go to his head, he never would have had the heart to give back to the streets that shaped him. That's the fighting spirit. That's what makes a lion. Modelo, root for those with a fighting spirit.
I'm the team mascot, and boy, am I running late. Ow, what a hit. And if you have cut rate car insurance, the cost to cover that might tank your season.
So get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
From Santa Claus, Indiana, to Snowflake, Arizona, and everywhere in between, we're holiday ready with fast and reliable delivery serving every address in America. The United States Postal Service.
At Sun Toyota, you get a real nationwide lifetime warranty on all new and most pre-owned vehicles. Lifetime means unlimited time, unlimited miles, honored anywhere in the USA and Canada. Get all the facts at suntoyota.com.
So that's just a Klarna payment being super protective. He stays close by when you shop, giving you buyer protection on every purchase, so you can shop safely at any store. It's a very serious job.
Everyone is ready for Monday Night Football. The Washington Commanders meet the Eagles.
I saw Tim Baker, the video coordinator for the Dukes, Josh, moments before tip-off, and I said, so how you feeling about this? He said, I don't know. Ask me at halftime. Hey, Tim, what do you think? 45-19, as Duquesne has been very impressive with this new look lineup for the first time.
I imagine his answer is a lot more detailed, because I know mine is. I can't help but be impressed. And it's not with the score. It's not with the numbers. It's with the effort. I think that's the thing that stands out the most to me. The defensive effort on this team with this group, from the moment this game tipped off, they have been spacing the floor well. They've been pursuing the ball well. Rebound opportunities, they haven't slacked off. Loose balls, they've been going after them. And you see the collective energy, both on the defensive side and getting back in the floor, turning it into transition points. It's turned into a good bit of opportunity for them. 15 points off turnovers. Tim, 17 points off the bench. Every guy in this game has given effort, and it's turned into productivity.
And we discussed the lack of offensive rebounds allowed by Duquesne. That has resulted in 0 second-chance points in the first half for Montana. The Dukes outscoring the Grizz 22-0 when it comes to points in the paint. And like you talked about, defense into offense, Josh, 15-2 points off of turnovers. And all this quality depth and all these minutes in production off the bench, that's going to come in handy because Duquesne plays a lot here. After this game tonight, they play again on Friday, the big one at Kentucky. Then South Carolina State on Monday, Friday versus Colgate, Monday North Florida, Wednesday before Thanksgiving Alabama, and then Tuesday the 29th against UC Santa Barbara.
Those aren't easy programs they're facing either.
November's packed.
Absolutely.
So if you can keep the minutes down at a minimum here early on, that's going to pay dividends later in the month. And what a way to start off the second half. Picking up where they left off. Second time we've seen the post-to-post pass, the big man-to-big man pass, I should say, really, Reese to Williams, as Duquesne cashes in on the first possession, what looked like a drawn-up play, executing it just like they have everything else tonight.
Right off the screen and roll in the elbow. Williams came from the corner. No one saw him, and he buried it.
Bannon will try to get things going. He was off in the first half, continues to be from the floor for the Grizzlies.
We talked about lack of points in the paint. That's part of it. Bannon has been really bottled up. He's not made a field goal yet in this game. He's 0 for 7 now.
Reese one step inside the three-point arc. Williams fighting hard for the rebound, and that's a mismatch underneath. Whitney picking up the foul on the rebound effort from Trey Williams.
I don't know how many handfuls Whitney had, but it sure looked like more than 2. You can see it here underneath. But we talked about it. There you see off the screen and roll, and no one followed Trey Williams. Everyone followed that handoff off the screen and roll here, and Williams was all alone for the baseline slam. That was great execution by Duquesne.
Trey Williams with 6 points and 3 rebounds so far. McGriff will go into the left corner. That rattles out, and we've got a rebounding foul underneath. So the ball will stay with Duquesne. I think the offender was Deshaun Thomas.
I'd have to agree with you there.
Yep. That's going to be his first.
We saw Quincy McGriff get that opportunity from the corner. Keith Dambrot wants to see him shoot and get opportunities to score.
Good steal from Whitney. And now the ball is lost as Roger Ayers will take a seat. You got to buy a ticket there, Roger, to sit there. Doesn't even have a pass, Josh.
the good news is the season ticket holders here at Duquesne are very friendly people. So he met a couple friends very easily, and I'm sure they'll have a lot to talk about later on tonight.
Those chairs collapsed pretty easily. I've sat in those before. I'm surprised he didn't get himself folded up on that one. Now Whitney up top, and Thomas attempted a three, and it's rebounded by Reese.
I'm amazed how Montana's biggest scorers or biggest shooters have struggled mightily in this game.
Now Grant, his first touch in a while, and that foul will go against Whitney.
I believe it's Whitney's third, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. No, they got Thomas.
Oh, they got Thomas for that one.
Montana shooting just 16.7% from the floor to amplify your point, Josh. Now McGriff all by himself. Nothing but net. McGriff didn't like the left side, so he goes to the right side instead.
That's what Keith Dambrot wants to see. He wants him to get opportunities to get that shot off.
Well, Whitney lost it off his shin, but the Grizzlies able to maintain possession. Behind the back dribble from Martin. Creates a little bit of space, and finally a field goal for the Grizzlies.
That was the easiest one Deshaun Thomas is going to get all day. Literally fell in his lap with no one around him.
They were 1 of 15 before that shot.
Wow.
One of their last 15. Right-handed shot from Reese. Duquesne having no such problems. Guess it's not the either end of the rim here, Josh. Duquesne's having an easy time.
Joe Reese using that footwork there around the rim to get the spin move.
Moody just inside the A-10 logo, barely able to keep the pivot foot down.
Good defense by Williams there to not give him any extra space.
And that's a nice pass as Ronski goes up for the block. And a little miscommunication there defensively, it looked like between Williams and Ronski, as you can see Williams talking to him afterwards.
And it looked like Ronski got the ball with the hand, but the knee came up there. There was some contact between that, maybe that knee from Ronski or maybe even Williams. I think they're going to give that to Ronski.
Yeah, they did. That's going to be his second.
He's played some really strong defense in this game. I love his intensity defensively, and it isn't as much of a force thing. It's all just instinct and him just being able to react to what's in front of him and make plays.
Bannon maybe 0 of 7 from the floor, but he's 5 of 5 from the stripe. Whitney, another Grizzlies player, is getting the job done at the free throw stripe. 5 of 6 for him so far. And that's really where a lot of the points have been coming from, and there's not been many of them as Duquesne is up by 30. 29 now as Bannon stays perfect.
When you can shut down a guy like Josh Bannon who's 6'10" and can score from anywhere, I think that's a big, big testament to your defense.
Grant did not cool off all that time on the bench. Does nothing to bother Day Grant as he hits another three.
He just continues to find good looks and bury them. I believe he has, 16 now?
That's his 16th point and third three-pointer. Vasquez attempts to answer. He can't. Rozier looks a little uncomfortable going to the bench. He might want out here, Josh. High post delivery down to Rotroff down low. Up fake and finishes.
Good effort.
Rozier wants out.
Yeah, he looks like he's limping there, that right leg or that right hip, but good effort from Rotroff to pick up the loose ball and put it in. Oh, he's grabbing that left leg.
I don't know if he took a knee to the thigh or maybe went knee to knee with someone, but he's very uncomfortable going back to the bench.
Man. I don't know if it's the knee or the hamstring, but he's holding down that left leg.
And Jimmy Clark comes back in. Yeah, Rozier, unfortunately, very uncomfortable going to the bench.
And that's a tough position to be in because we talked about the different guys that Keith Dambrot's trying to have to rotate at that point guard position in the absence of Tevin Brewer, who's already out.
Yeah, this is one thing we need to point out. All this is happening without Brewer, who was supposed to be the guy that was going to make the engine go.
Exactly.
Oh, fine left-handed finish as Bannon finally gets to the board from the floor. That's his first.
There he goes. And I think we've been waiting for that to happen. And he finally got one inside the paint there. That's Montana's first basket inside the paint, I believe. Actually, it might be their second.
And now McGriff, a little bit out of control, but got a foul up high.
Yeah, a lot of contact there on the floor.
Keith Dambrot not happy with Trey Williams for something he didn't do on offense. fourth team foul here in the first 4 minutes for Montana.
And Quincy McGriff, I imagine we'll see him get a lot more opportunity now back at that playing the one spot because of Rozier. They're going to get Rotroff on the offensive foul here.
Yeah, they are. And that's going to be the third team foul for Duquesne as well. We'll take this opportunity to step aside. Duquesne, 57. Montana, 25. Those numbers are not reversed. It's 57-25, not 52. Duquesne rolling right now in the second half.
As Western Pennsylvania's largest regional public accounting firm with local ownership and management, Schneider Downs gives you the global ideas your company needs right here at home. Schneider Downs, big thinking, personal focus.
At Duquesne, it's our joy to help you discover what you're good at and why that's good for the world. We want you to become a problem solver who thinks bigger, who is driven by compassion and empathy. Together, we will work towards achieving your goals and a greater sense of purpose. We're ready with an education that's everything you need and more than you imagined. It's time for bigger goals. Duquesne University.
Want a great entertaining area for family and friends but short on space? Now there's no reason that you can't be the party house with Leon's Billiards and More convenient space savers. Our versatile dining top pool tables and buffet top shuffleboards allow you to dine first and play after. We can fill all your entertainment needs with game tables, bars, furniture, and more. Professional installation and financing options available. Leon's Billiards and More, bringing family and friends together for over 30 years.
Find it, try it, paint it, love it. 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 Find it, try it, paint it, love it, love it, love it.
As Western Pennsylvania's largest regional public accounting firm with local ownership and management, Schneider Downs gives you the global ideas your company needs right here at home. Schneider Downs, big thinking, personal focus.
Well, there's one aspect of our job that's a little bit easier this year, Josh, and that is we no longer have to guess which Thomas twin we're talking about because Charles Thomas is still with the staff of Keith Dambrot and has been for a long time, but Carl Thomas, his twin brother, now with Cleary University, an NAIA school, and he's become the head coach. That's Drew Joyce right there, who replaces Carl Thomas on the staff, and very active. Been watching him on the bench, very engaged here as the first-time assistant coach with Keith Dambrot anyway, with Duquesne. Was at Akron in 2016 with Coach Dambrot, and he's going to be a very valuable addition to this staff.
Yeah, I think one thing that sticks out over just that short time period, the 6 years at Duquesne, Keith Dambrot has had a lot of guys on that staff that he's had as holdovers from Akron or former players.
Wow. And there's a dunk. That might be a highlight moment of the game so far. Mac Anderson. Drew Joyce, a close friend of LeBron James, was his teammate at St. Vincent St. Mary High School in Akron.
And Keith Dambrot is not shy in talking about his relationship with LeBron.
And there's an interception underneath the hoop. The Dukes will be playing there, by the way, next week.
Headed to Akron. It's become a fun yearly tradition for this program.
Going to visit the I Promise School the day before that. And there's a foul on the floor, Gunn, as Bannon takes it aggressively to the 10.
There's a look there at R.J. Gunn sticking that leg out for Bannon trying to get by.
You mentioned the crowd being into it, Josh. I think you can see the smiles on the faces of all the fans from here on the floor. They're really enjoying this, and you can see there's some excitement, especially in the student section where we're looking right now. They're really into it. And excited to see how this team has quickly gelled and come together in game one.
There's a lot of uncertainty coming into this season, so when you can see early results like this, it's definitely going to quell some fears and maybe some doubt as far as the fan base. Hopefully this keeps rolling for him.
Grant will run the show a little bit. Rochoff passes up the shot, puts it into the corner instead, gets the rebound, and will reset to Gunn. Clark, good up fake. Drives, lost the handle though. Rochoff on the block. Tries to spin, loses his footing, and actually traveled in the process.
Yeah, he slipped and fell there and couldn't keep his control going up to the deck. I want to point something out here. Rochoff, before this sequence, setting up this play here in the block, he had great anticipation on a three-point shot from the corner. I believe it's from Gunn. He set himself up on the other side of the rim. It's almost like he knew exactly where it was going to ricochet to, so he was in perfect position to rebound it and keep it alive and reset the clock for Duquesne. Good anticipation by Rochoff.
And as we said at halftime, there haven't been a lot of opportunities for offensive rebounds because they just weren't missing in the first half.
That's true. 57.6% in the first half.
Action has slowed down some here in the second half. Couldn't expect the Dukes to keep up that pace. They were good out of the gates, but a couple of empty possessions. So now Wronski will run the point a bit. We told you he could do that in this game. He decides to drive and takes the bump on the floor. They're going to say that's on the floor. He wanted the continuation.
He was trying to give he said, come on, give it to me, and they didn't do it. Here's a look at it here. He tried the continuation.
Yeah, tried the Euro step, also wanted the Euro continuation.
He really wanted it bad.
Not going to happen.
I give him credit for trying to use the body language. But it is worth mentioning, Wronski, I think not only the offensive effort he's had, but the defensive effort as well. He's been pretty good all around here so far.
Feet underneath to Reese.
Whoa!
Tough angle and one. Boy, Reese has been very impressive. The athleticism. He's not a big, hulking, big guy, but he takes up space like Wronski. He's got tons of length to his game, and he's got some finish at the 10.
That was a little excuse me there, sliding his way through the lane to get that pass. Good job by Wronski to find the cutting Reese, but up against two defenders, he gets fouled and gets contacted by both of them and somehow still puts it up and in and gets the foul.
Reese with the free throw. No good, so he's stuck on 8 points to go along with 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. That's a nice stat-stuffing effort with plenty of time left.
Really strong debut here at Duquesne.
Oh, Bannon goes with the left, and now back the other way to Reese. Can he catch it and finish it again? He can. Now he's in double digits. And the pressure defense put on again by Duquesne. Press is broken more effectively this time, though, by the Grizzlies. Shot no good. Fought for by Gunn. Taps it back out, and Duquesne's on offense. Into the front court. Clark spins behind the three-point arc. Jacks one up, no good. That's a little bit of a heat check.
Yeah, you saw some rising fans standing up, ready to explode if that one went in. Just so happens it didn't go.
Good to see Rozier's coming back after suffering that left leg injury. Easily about to check in for the second time in this game. Gave some good quality minutes off the bench. Swatted away by Reese.
That was good anticipation.
Oh, Reese almost got it again. Shot clock down to 2. And that drive comes up empty. Good rebound, though, underneath by Bannon. Knocked away by Clark. That'll be a block shot, and I think it hit the back of the backboard.
It looked like it, yeah.
Yeah, I think Duquesne was trying to save it. That might have been Grant, and he got underneath and hit the back of the backboard.
Good job by Jimmy Clark here. Watch him get up and cleanly put that one back down. Good defense there on the guy who's got, 6 inches on him in Bannon?
Now Gunn goes out. Clark goes out. You know, this is one of these times where it's clear, Josh, that the competition for minutes is at stake here. You know, like, it's so clear that there are guys that Keith Danbrock can go to now and ride if he needs to for extended minutes. Everybody making the most of their time on the floor, even though they're up 61-29.
And that hasn't always been the case with this program. It's been more or less how many guys can Keith Danbrock trust with minutes. Now he has guys he can trust. It's now for more a measure of who's going to earn those minutes.
Thomas, the offensive putback, a rare second chance point.
Rare indeed.
Rozier watched by Vasquez. Grant will hoist another 3 and hit another 3. He just looks so pure. This is exactly what Keith Dambrot was selling.
I don't think anybody should touch Damian Grant right now. They might burn a finger because he is red hot at the moment.
He's up to 19. Whitney out of control, loses it. Now Reese lost it back though. Vasquez will go up and get the foul as Kareem Rozier caught himself underneath. But free throws when we come back. But more solid play for Duquesne, hustling down to the floor. And the Dukes continue to lead 64-31 with under 12 left to go in the game at UPMC Cooper Fieldhouse.
Okay, we'd open with creaky footsteps.
Well, what is that?
And you go, it's the money you could save by bundling your home and car insurance.
Right, you may be happy about the savings.
They're scared of how happy savings make them feel.
Oh, of course. Geico.
From Santa Claus, Indiana, to Snowflake, Arizona, and everywhere in between, we're holiday ready with fast and reliable delivery serving every address in America. The United States Postal Service.
So that's just a Klarna payment being super protective. He stays close by when you shop, giving you buyer protection on every purchase, so you can shop safely at any store. It's a very serious job.
If Mark, Mr. Cartoon Machado, didn't have the fighting spirit to draw out his passion, he never would have turned chrome into a canvas. If he let a lack of tools stop him, he never would have started tattooing using a homemade machine. And if he listened to those who said you need an art degree, he never would have perfected the street look that made him a street legend. That's the fighting spirit. That's what makes a lion. Modelo, root for those with a fighting spirit.
Progress is a race that has no end. After every finish line, another challenge awaits. How can we continue to push innovation in a sport at the forefront of technology? This is how. Discover how Aramco and the Aston Martin Formula One team aim to meet Formula One's sustainable fuel targets. Aramco, powered by How.
This could be an authentic Detroit-style deep dish pizza from Little Caesars. It certainly has the thickness.
With caramelized crispy cheese edges. I'm guessing it's...
Detroit-style deep dish, actually from Detroit, only $8.99.
Pizza.
See the 33-point advantage for Duquesne in front of Montana. Collision of worlds here, Josh, with Duquesne as hot as they could possibly be, and Montana ice cold. I'm sure things will get better for the Grizzlies once they get back into the Big Sky, and I'm sure things aren't going to be like this every night for Duquesne, but it does allow you to have some bigger aspirations for what the Dukes could be in the A-10 this year.
And at the very least, we talk about this November schedule that's still on tap here for Duquesne. They're going to Lexington to face Kentucky here going into this weekend. Not that it's going to put anything different on your plate, but at least gives this team some confidence.
Well, that might be a
they
problem.
have some early success.
That might be a problem as Kentucky looks at this and says, uh-oh. They're not going to catch anybody asleep now.
Any opportunity to maybe sneak in.
Boy, that's just emblematic of the night, isn't it? That free throw was 3/4 of the way down and somehow figured out a way to come out of the rim.
Unbelievable sequence of events for Montana in this game.
That one, little retribution. As I was looking here at the history for Duquesne against the Big Sky, they lost last year against Weber State. Beat Montana in a CBI game, Josh, 87-76. Ron Everhart was coaching back then.
That was the only other meeting between these two teams.
Yep, they beat Northern Arizona in 2000. They beat Idaho in 1949. Wow. Now we're going back.
Wow.
Dixon, drive, and the foul. Whew. Oh, good to see from Dixon. Not afraid to put it on the floor.
And he took flight from probably the middle of the paint. Watch where he goes up here. He just soared his way in with the finger roll at the end, and the 6'9" freshman, another young man making his debut, and he gets the 3-point play there.
Dixon from Memphis, Tennessee, a freshman. This is the free throw. I mentioned his sister earlier. She's 6'5", scored 549 points at Louisville and blocked 80 shots.
Wow.
And there's a dunk on the other end for Montana. A rare offensive highlight from Thomas.
If you're Montana at this point, you're taking baskets any way you can get them. Trailing by 32 in this game.
Well, Easley has done some good things off the bench tonight for Duquesne. And Grant stepped on the out-of-bounds line. He was looking at where his foot is right now. There's plenty of space there.
Dede Grant has not made many mistakes in this game. I think he's kind of surprised at that one.
19 points and 3 rebounds, go along with 2 assists. Now Dixon trying to stick on defense with Bannon. And he goes up and challenges at the rim. They're going to call him for a foul.
Good effort. Bannon draws the foul, but good effort by Dixon.
I think this is kind of going back to what we were talking about in the first half. Like a foul like that, let's say it's not a 30-something point game,
right,
and it's a tighter game. Like that's the kind of challenge you want at the rim and feel like you don't have to worry about because you're going to go incredibly thin all of a sudden up front.
And you're talking about a true freshman going toe-to-toe with a junior who's got a couple of years already of all-conference experience.
Speaking of depth, defensive depth down low for the Dukes, did you catch Monir Hema last night for Syracuse?
That was brought to my attention. I think you pointed that out to me. I was very, very surprised.
Couple of blocks.
This is true. Our booth points this out to us. Truck points it out. Noted Syracuse alum Tim Benz pointing it out.
Oh, come on. You know, you had the under. Come on. I went way beyond the under, didn't I?
You did.
Under
you
minutes.
I
you were expecting that in the first 5 minutes of the game, weren't you?
I have to give you credit. You did conduct yourself well.
I didn't work it in for the sake of working it in. I waited for an opportunity where I felt like it was a natural progression of the conversation.
I commend you for your effective restraint. I do.
It was great to see Monir do something for Syracuse last night. Did have a couple blocks, had a basket in the game, and energized the crowd at the Dome as they beat Lehigh.
It's a good thing to see players move on and have other opportunities. You never want to see players leave.
McGriff with a big smile on his face, and why not? I'm not sure he felt great about that one when it left his hand, but like everything else, it went in for the Dukes tonight.
Coaches have a name for that. They call it the no, yes shot. That's exactly what that was.
Keith Dambrot is grimacing now. I think he's at the point where he's saying, all right, these guys are going to think they can do this every night.
And if there's anyone who wants to try to quell that, it's
I got to coach
Dambrot.
this 30-point win out of them. Now Moody loses it. Here's Easley. Grant. Still smoking.
My God.
He's broken the 20-point barrier.
Oh, man, he's at 22. And the spacing on that play, coming back down the floor, they knew they had numbers. Grant didn't do anything crazy, just found himself a little spot in the corner. Easley got it to him, and he knocks it down.
Moody tries to get away from McGriff. Now Bannon will work on Dixon again. This was a good matchup last time. Bannon uses him, draws the contact, feels the bump, and gets a basket.
And for David Dixon, this is one of those times where you're going to get really invaluable experience. And once again, his collegiate debut.
McGriff losing control of the dribble. Now Dede Grant. Okay, now this is a heat check, and he must be scalding.
What?
That was one of those, this is just for fun.
It's just, you know what? Why not? Let's try here. See if this works. And it did. 25 for Grant.
Moody, the curl. Halfway down, a rebound by Dixon. The entertainment factor is on high right now, and there's a timeout called. We got an injury? There's somebody bleeding maybe. Whoever it is, McGriff, and he will come off. That might have happened when he lost control of that dribble.
Could be, yeah. I think Dede Grant was looking forward to pulling up from the D here at the middle of the floor. He did not like that whistle being blown. He was ready to fire another one off.
Now Keith Darren brought a few words for Dixon. And Clark comes back in with Wronski. There's still 8.5 left to go, and Duquesne's already at 74 points. Ball knocked away, but Reese is there. He dives the floor. Good effort from both Montana and the Dukes. Wronski decides to throw one of those up. It's contagious.
Oh, my. That's double digits for Wronski, too. Got to love the effort for Joe Reese to get to that ball and get it to Wronski. Wronski gets the open look and buries it. Really good sequence for Duquesne. That opened up a 40-point lead. Got to love that effort. Here we go.
And here's Clark all by himself. He'll go up and put it off the backboard. Keith Dambrot said to me that this feels like a pick'em game. Vegas disagreed. They thought it was a 5.5-point game. That short jumper is true for Deshaun Thomas. Thomas up to 9. No, actually, take that back. He had 9 before that, so he's into double digits. Second Grizzly player to do that. He's at 11 now. Oh, Grant uses the screen from Reese. He wants to penetrate this time, has it swatted away. It's picked up by Moody. One thing about Grant that Coach Dambrot said he'd like to see the dribble a little tighter. He's a little loose with the dribble as Reese was hunting for a third block. And with the score 79-39, the Dukes up by 40. We'll come back in just a few moments. A break in the action brought to you by Cordia, creating energy solutions. Lots of energy coming from the Duquesne Dukes tonight. McGriff, Grant, Wronski, they are rolling on the bluff.
At Duquesne, it's our joy to help you discover what you're good at and why that's good for the world. We want you to become a problem solver who thinks bigger, who is driven by compassion and empathy. Together, we will work towards achieving your goals and a greater sense of purpose. We're ready with an education that's everything you need and more than you imagined. It's time for bigger goals. Duquesne University.
Nursing school doesn't really teach you to become an ICU nurse. Like, you have to have a special talent to understand patients who are not able to express themselves. Just little clues that the body gives you and the patient gives you that just help. Who they are and what they want is extremely important to me.
Can you imagine if your kid was in here fighting for their life or going through what they're going through? You know, we gotta kind of leave our stuff at the door and remember why we're doing this. At UPMC, we're changing people's days with what we do. That means everything.
Every school teaches the basics, gives out homework, and prepares students for life. But at the Summit Academy, we hold ourselves to a higher goal. We ask more, instill a deeper sense of pride, and challenge students to achieve the kind of success that they never imagined possible. If you have the passion to change lives, we are currently hiring teachers, drug and alcohol counselors, and therapists. The Summit Academy. Join us and make a difference.
Good catch by Josh. I guess I didn't properly address that question about the point spread when I said it was a 5.5-point spread. You said in which direction?
I was curious.
The Dukes were a 5.5-point favorite from what I saw, and now they're sitting on a 40-point lead here. You were teasing me, and rightfully so, about my constant references to Syracuse, which is to say just one with Monir Hima. But I should point out, and just a moment of seriousness here on the topic, it was very sad to see the news about Jake Krauthamel passing at the age of 84, the longtime athletic director at Syracuse University. A really nice person for me to deal with when I was there at Syracuse as both a student reporter and in the professional ranks for the first couple years after graduation. He really understood and took seriously the tradition of broadcasting in the broadcasting school, the Newhouse School at Syracuse, and went to great ends at times to make sure that our college radio station, WAER, was treated right and got credentialed in places where maybe we shouldn't, and other student radio stations had a hard time getting that, and he fought really hard for us on a lot of occasions like that, and I was very sad to see that, but a really nice man, and did a great job as the athletic director at Syracuse for many, many years.
I think for most, young student journalists and broadcasters growing up and trying to get into this business, when you find that one person that allows you to open that door and give you that opportunity, it means so much more.
Day Grant, career high 28 against Eastern Michigan from his time at Miami, Ohio.
I believe that came 2 years ago.
Feed inside to Reese, right-hander, rolls in nicely. His body control is impressive.
I was going to say the same thing, and he's finding a lot of those opportunities right there inside the basket, just inside the halo, but he's converting them. He's in double figures.
Bowling Green, he had a 15 and 12 double-double as a three-pointer goes down for Montana. Brown hits the three-pointer. 14-12 double-double versus Duquesne in 2021, and may have opened some eyes and put him on their radar.
Quite possibly. Sometimes that is the thing that catches other coaches' attention, and you hear a lot of coaches talk about what you put on film and how it can make a difference. You never know who's watching.
Reese will watch a three go off the front rim. Mentioned Brown getting that three-pointer. Those were his first points of the night. International flavor to this roster with him being from London and this guy Bannon from Melbourne. That three-pointer goes in. Well, now they're finding it. A little bit late, but they're finding it.
Yeah, that's his first three-pointer of the evening. I mean, Josh Bannon, he went a good chunk of this game without even recording his first field goal. It didn't happen until the second half, but he's a guy I'm sure that won't have that problem very often this season.
Approaching the 5-minute mark, and Aronski finishes with the right hand, uses the rim as a shield, and he'll go to the line for a three-point play.
Look at the quick step here, and he had the whole lane to himself to access it, even avoided the shot block there, draws the foul, and puts it in. And Matusz Aronski, I got to say this, and I've said this quite a few times, really making a great first impression, not only with what he's done offensively, defensively as well, a really good collective effort in his debut.
Decided to finish with the right hand. And he'll finish the three-point play with a free throw.
He's got 13 now. It's a really strong start for Matusz Aronski.
5 of 6 from the floor as his first trip to the free throw line.
Gets a hug from Keith Dambrot on his way off the floor. Looks like his night's done.
Boy, the Dukes shooting 64% from the field. Montana is up to 32.6%.
Wow.
Dixon comes out high to defend Bannon. The blow-by, the drive, and the dunk. Oh! We're looking for highlight moments for the Grizzlies in the second half. There's one.
It's not every day where you see a guy continue to elevate, but that's what you saw here. It's like he just kept rising.
Dixon tried to hang with him the whole way into the lane and ended up on a poster.
That was one of those matchups we've seen quite a bit of here in the second half, and Bannon made it known that he won that round.
For as much of a struggle as it was early for Bannon, he's potentially going to walk away here with 20 points. Hits the free throw, it's 19, and he gets it. That's where he's got a lot of his points, 8 of them from the stripe.
He averaged 15 and 8 rebounds a game last season.
And I think we have a clock malfunction. Yeah, the shot clock didn't move.
Now they've reset it.
I like that either they're very, very quick to match it up with the game clock, or they rounded it to 7 seconds. With a 34-point margin, I guess there's not much need to go over and get the minutia of the clock. 7 seconds sounds good enough.
I doubt anyone would haggle at this point. I have to agree with that.
Dixon, he tries to answer, it goes off the front rim. Oh, you know he wanted that.
Oh, man.
He wanted that so badly after Bannon's dunk on him.
And Bannon was right there under the rim, too. He's going to hear about that when they watch film. And he'll hear about it from more than just the coaching staff. His teammates will point that one out,
too. That'll be much worse.
Oh, yeah.
Now Dixon sets the screen underneath to Gunn, who goes up challenged, and he's fouled.
I like the approach here by Jimmy Clark. knowing he had that space, and you'll see it here, that was the no look. That was a nice setup there for Gunn. He couldn't finish it off, but he drew the foul. But really good eyes by Jimmy Clark to find R.J. Gunn cutting to the basket.
Did you notice the body language there from Keith Dambrot and Dixon on the sideline? Came up and gave him a hug around the waist and, knocked him on the chin and said, I know, I get it. It's okay. I understand what was going on there.
It's one of those, okay, that's fine, just never do it again.
Yeah. Great play, Hayes.
I'm glad you caught that reference. Thank you. We're 2 for 2 for our baseball references this evening.
Gunn with the second free throw. Duke's up 35. Now Bannon, watched by Easley, into the corner. That long three-pointer. Did that kiss off the glass?
It looked like it did.
Wow, we're not at a great angle for that, but that was Brown's second three regardless.
Had a little bend there.
Not sure if he called glass on that or not. I'm going to guess no.
If he did, I'm impressed.
Clark with the lob to Easley. He gathers, decides to go in the paint, keeps the pivot down and goes with the left hand off the window and good.
That's pretty impressive, staying on that pivot foot, because it didn't go the way he wanted to when he first came down with the ball. But he kept his body control enough.
Clark almost got the rip. Bannon gets it back. Thomas +1. Gunn gets the foul and will step aside. 87-53. Last media timeout. The Dukes cruising here at the UPMC Cooper Fieldhouse, but the Grizzlies hanging around and making things interesting as much as they can with 3:05 left to go. And Duquesne out in front, 87-53.
From Santa Claus, Indiana, to Snowflake, Arizona, and everywhere in between, we're holiday ready with fast and reliable delivery serving every address in America. The United States Postal Service.
It's big, it's back, and it's still $6. Get the big box y'all love today.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Well. Heard my baby sister's buying a car. You'll need my secret weapon.
Gross, no. Anyway, I already used Capital One Auto Navigator. Found my car online and got pre-qualified instantly.
That's pretty cool.
What's in your wallet?
So that's just a Klarna payment being super protective. He stays close by when you shop, giving you buyer protection on every purchase, so you can shop safely at any store. It's a very serious job.
Change is coming.
And we're back with about 3 minutes left to go in the second half, 87-53. As Josh Taylor and Tim Benz will take you through the last 3 minutes here on ESPN Plus. Thanks to Cordia, creating energy solutions. 36-point victory. Keith Dambrot has been in this margin of victory before. That was against Columbia back in 2019 up at La Roche while the UPMC Cooper Fieldhouse was being built. Also has a 49-point win against Delaware State. So for as much of a blowout as this is, Keith Dambrot's been in this territory before.
Pleasant memories of those La Roche days. Pleasant memories.
Up on the track.
Yeah, absolutely.
We called a couple of those games.
Yeah, those are fun times. Those couple of these with this program, a couple women's games too with Alex Penorvius. Good times.
The rim's a little bit more forgiving here.
Absolutely. Very, very true.
I think that got in the Duquesne players' heads a little bit as that season was going along, don't you?
I could totally see that as a theory. It was a market difference, honestly.
Dixon lost it. Montana into the front court, and Brown +1. Boy, he's had a nice second half. Two threes, and now a potential three-point play.
He's managed to put his stamp on this one, especially considering the fact that Montana couldn't find any scoring anywhere in the first half. So to see, between him and Bannon finally getting on the score sheet frequently, early and often in the second half.
Most three-pointers without a miss in a game is 7. Day Grant has 6.
Ooh.
Dixon wanted to give it to Gunn, who kind of got by the attempted the handoff, but now Clark has it in his possession. Gets the feet moving. Clark drives left. Oh, wow. That was pretty.
Wow.
Jimmy likes it, and he should.
He's had some pretty strong drives to the basket, but he's been handing them off with really nice passes to his teammates. That one he kept for himself, and that one looked pretty good too. A little extra sauce on that one.
Timeout called for here with a 33-point lead on the board. 2:17 left. And we'll keep it here. So, Josh, as we look ahead to the schedule, I mentioned they play a lot in November. Kentucky on the road on Friday. A lot of people going out, a lot of alumni. This is going to be a fun trip for Duquesne. I know they've been looking forward to this.
Agreed.
In this MTE. And then they've got the South Carolina State game. That's not our game. That's a CBS SN game for folks who want to watch on the 14th. Friday, they're against Colgate in Akron. That was the Akron game we were talking about.
Right.
The Promise School. We were discussing that earlier in the broadcast. North Florida on the 21st on ESPN+.
Matt Driscoll, who has LaRoche ties, by the way. Local guy.
Alabama State on Wednesday the 23rd, right before Thanksgiving. That's an ESPN Plus game, as is the game on the 29th. UC Santa Barbara. The first conference game will be January the 4th, Wednesday, against VCU. Other home games you'll see, and there are a lot of them. Actually, let me retract that. That was the first home game for the conference season will be Rhode Island on Saturday, January 21st. The other opponents that you'll see here at home, Ball State, Marshall, New Mexico State, DePaul, Indiana State, Winthrop. And then, like I said, at Dayton will be the first road contest on the 28th to open up conference play for the Dukes.
Marshall becoming one of those annual opponents that we see for this program. We see them quite a bit over the past couple seasons.
Yeah, and as for Montana, they've got Xavier next. So I believe they're staying out here and then taking on the Musketeers on the 11th. And they've got St. Thomas, Merrimack, Troy, and MSU Northern over the span of 5 days. So they got a tournament there that they're, I think it's called the Zoomtown Classic. Is that what they call it? The Zoomtown Classic.
That sounds familiar.
In Missoula. So, all right, a little inside here why that took me a little time to get through. We were talking about the print on the notes.
Yes.
There was a disagreement between the software and the printer as to how big the notes were. And I'm usually, okay, as far as, I can't see anything far. Okay, near, yes. This is a struggle even for me. I don't know about you.
I have the exact same thing. I have slight astigmatism, but I'm more nearsighted than farsighted. You and I, we talked about the matchup for Duquesne facing Kentucky on Friday. Montana, they got to take on Gonzaga in December.
Yeah, you're right about that.
So that'll be an interesting matchup for them.
Now Brown just had the hot hand for the Grizz. Vasquez trying to get by Clark after the nice move on offense in the previous possession. Rebound is knocked away, and it will stay with Montana.
I think everybody, including the mascot, pointed the other way for Duquesne, but the officials didn't agree.
Is there an official shade of blue for the line? You know what that shade of blue is?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
Speaking of blind, I am totally colorblind, by the way. So
No
you're going to have to help me out with that.
No kidding.
I'm going to defer to your judgment.
I would say probably.
Oh, it's Clark in the open court, rolls it in. The steal, and then 2 points as a result.
I'm going to take a stab at Columbia blue.
Ah, got it. Second Columbia reference here in this little block of time.
I was at a Duquesne football game recently. The Lion let me wear his hat. It fit very surprisingly well.
Disturbingly well?
Yeah.
Oh, Vasquez from way outside. Now Duquesne has broken the 90-point barrier here at the UPMC Cooper Fieldhouse. Some people chanting for 100 behind us.
Uh-oh. Careful what you wish for.
Duquesne patiently running the offense. Wronski from Dixon. Now Eastley, he'll try to get a few more on the board. Actually, he decides to pass to Clark. Good feed, Dixon. What can he do with it? And it's knocked away underneath. Under a minute left to go. Actually, 45 seconds and an and one as Montana trying to get on the bus out to the airport and have some positive vibes. Thomas, he gets the basket. 10th team foul for Duquesne.
He's quietly worked his way up the score sheet here. I think he's got 16, looking for 17 now.
And just a couple more possessions to cap off a very, very positive opener for Duquesne.
You never want to call something like this too good to be true because of the effort that this team exhibited, but it is one of those things where you don't want to create an expectation.
Yeah.
But
here's the bad news, guys. You got to do it again all the time now.
Exactly. But you have to be pleased as far as, if you're Keith Dambrot, as far as the effort this team put out.
One more attempt at a three-pointer. That goes awry from Jackson Knapp, and that should do it. Your final score will be 91-63. Duquesne impresses the Dukes fans here on the Bluff in the first game of 2022-23. They roll to victory, and the latest new-look Duquesne crew off to a fast start in the new calendar year. We'll come back and have the post-game show for you next here on ESPN+.
A good crew knows conditions can change, especially in life.
It's a boy.
That's why the crew at Carvana gives you 7 days to make sure your car fits your needs. Triplets. This calls for third row seating. Finding the right car can smash your budget. But the crew at Carvana makes it easier to shop for thousands of cars at the right price. So breaking in the new ride.
It's time for bigger goals. Duquesne University. At Duquesne, it's our joy to help you discover what you're good at and why that's good for the world. We want you to become a problem solver who thinks bigger, who is driven by compassion and empathy. Together, we will work towards achieving your goals and a greater sense of purpose. We're ready with an education that's everything you need and more than you imagined. It's time for bigger goals. Duquesne University.
Your PA Lottery winning numbers for today's game. You see them right there. Duquesne 91, Montana 63. The winning numbers are brought to you by PA Lottery. PA Lottery benefiting older Pennsylvanians every day. Welcome back to the postgame show brought to you by UPMC. Tim Benz and Josh Taylor with you. UPMC and the UPMC Health Plan, the official health plan provider of the Duquesne Dukes. Let's get to our game-changing moment, Josh, and the game-changing moment has to be the pressure defense from the Dukes and how that turned things around early in the game. There really wasn't a game-changing moment. It's pretty much the end of the national anthem.
10 steals by Duquesne in this game. They upped the defensive pressure. 22 points off turnovers. There are 2 of them by Joe Reese. Just an outstanding effort from him and a complete effort from this defense. And you saw that moment. You see Kareem Rozier there just completely roaring like the MGM Lion. But it was just an amazing effort, and that just continued not only for just that play, but it continued to filter down through the roster all the way through the course of this game.
Game-changing moment brought to you by UPMC, the official healthcare provider of the Dukes. And now we get to our Behind the Numbers segment brought to us by Schneider Downs. Learn how big thinking with a personal focus can help your organization. The numbers stellar for Duquesne, nearly hitting 2/3 of their shots, dominating on the glass. Turnovers were even, but that doesn't really tell the tale. A lot of that was late as Duquesne was up big. the turnovers that they forced in the first half, you just saw evidence of that in our game-changing play.
I think that's the thing that sticks out the most as far as that first half effort. They forced so many turnovers. And there's something else I'll point out. This is probably the most important stat. Out of 40 minutes, Duquesne led for 38 minutes and 30 seconds of that total 40.
Day Grant, your leading scorer on the night with 25 points. Ronsky with 13, McGriff with 10, and Reese with 12. Thanks to Benji and our crew in the truck. Thanks to Josh Taylor. I'm Tim Benz. Kentucky next on Friday on ESPN+.
Why is Roger happy? It's the little things Carvana does. See, Roger wants to sell his car, stat. Little things like getting a real offer in 2 minutes really make Roger happy. So does Carvana's customer advocate, Caitlin, picking up his car at promptly 10 a.m.
Hi, are you Roger?
Burgling with the Honda Accord? Yes, I am. It's right over there. Will I be getting...
And he loves that Caitlin pays him on the spot. Yep, Raj, it's the little things that drive you happy. We'll drive you happy at Carvana.
This Friday. Reserve your tickets now. Rated PG-13.
You done yet? It's 2 a.m. Why are you still scrolling through videos? You're not paying me overtime here. If you really want to see something new, why not change those shades that have been broken for the past 2 years? Let's tap the Thumbtack app, and in a matter of seconds, we'll find a pro to install new shades.
Okay.
With Thumbtack, you can easily find top-rated professionals for every home project.
Thumbtack, the easy way to care for your home.
Did you know GoodRx can help you get a better price on your family's prescriptions?
I just open the app, type in the name of our meds, that's it. Savings on my asthma medication. All right, round 2, baby, round 2. Oh, yeah! Savings on my husband's blood pressure refills. And savings on my daughter's allergy pills.
Prescription savings for the whole family.
Have a good one.
Another good reason to check GoodRx.
From Santa Claus, Indiana, to Snowflake, Arizona, and everywhere in between, we're holiday ready with fast and reliable delivery serving every address in America. The United States Postal Service.
Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments.